If you want to listen to music on a plane, a train, a bus, or even at work or home and want to cancel out that background noise, then you need a good pair of wireless noise cancelling headphones. Fortunately, you don't have to spend a fortune in order to get a good pair. So here we have 4 headphones, all priced around $150, and I'm going to be comparing them all against each other, looking at their pros and cons, so that by the end of this video, you'll know which pair are right for you. Welcome to my tech gear. Let's get into it. So the 4 headphones we're looking at today are the Soundcore Q45s, the Sony WH-CH720Ns, the Edifier WH-950NBs, and the Clear Audio Enduros. Now, in full disclosure, I did go and buy these Sony headphones myself, but the others were sent to me by their companies for review, but no one is paying for or sponsoring this video, so you will, as always, get my honest opinion. So I'm going to be grading all of these headphones in different categories against a tier list grading from S to F, so you will know which of these headphones are good at what. Design and build quality. First up is the Soundcore Q45s. So the buttons on these control all the functionality that you need out of a pair of headphones. Actually, the buttons on all these headphones do exactly the same thing, so they're all control power on, off, Bluetooth pairing, ANC modes and switching between them, play and pause, skip tracks forwards and backwards, volume control changing, voice assistant activation, answering phone calls. So all of these headphones have you covered for that. The buttons on here themselves look really well designed, but they're a little bit too smooth and svelte for my liking because it can make them a little bit difficult to operate when you're wearing them. These are foldable as well, so they are easily going to fold up and fit inside the case that comes with these. We'll get to that in a little bit. The pan and tilt on these is actually pretty good as well. Not the best out of the 4 on this table, but not bad. The flex on this is really good. That metal band across the top really helps to add to that build quality, and you can flex these really wide. Overall, they are really well built, really sturdy, really flexible, so it's a B rating for the Q45s. Next up are the Sony WH-CH720Ns, which from now on I'm just going to call the 720s because otherwise that model number's gonna be a bit of a mouthful. Now, design wise and quality, this probably does feel the cheapest out of all these headphones here because it is predominantly made out of plastic. The matte black finish over on this plastic makes it look pretty good and as premium as an all plastic pair of headphones could possibly get. Flexibility wise, it's really good. You can flex these massively. Now these do fold, but they only fold flat, and the pan and tilt on these is really good as well. Lots of panning and plenty of tilt for getting you a good fit around your ears. And the buttons on here look good, do all the essentials that I've mentioned before, and are fairly easy to operate due to the raised bumps on the buttons themselves. So whilst these are well built and they've got good flexibility and good range, they are the cheapest making, they are the lightest here, they don't feel as premium, so it's a C rating for the 720s. So moving on to the Edifier WH-950NBs, and I'm actually going to call these the 950s from now on because that model number, well, it's a bit of a mouthful as well. These headphones have to be the most premium looking out of all of the headphones here. On the side, it might look like it's leather, but it's actually plastic with a leather look. The design of these actually look very similar to Sony's WH-1000X M4s, which I've had before, and I actually did a video where I compared both of those side by side. The pan and tilt on these is really good as well, and the flex is really good, no creaking. The rubber buttons on here I do think let them down a little bit because it doesn't look as premium as the rest of the headphones, but they operate all of the essentials, and the bumps on these make them really easy to operate when you're wearing the headphones. These also fold up, so are really easy for putting in your bag, and they also fold up into the provided case, which we'll get to in a little bit. So that, combined with the premium build quality, makes these an easy B rating. Moving on to the Clear Audio Enduros. Now, design wise, there is a real retro vibe to these headphones, which might not be to everybody's taste, but I actually quite like it. These do fold up flat only, and the pan and tilt on these is okay, good panning, little bit of tilting. The buttons on these have to be the easiest to operate out of all 4 of these. There is a real prominent bump in the middle of them, which just makes it really easy to find the right button when you're wearing them. However, what lets these headphones down is the build quality, because whilst there is a metal band across the top and there's lots of flexibility, there's also a fair bit of creaking. So they look like a well-made pair of headphones, but I can't get past the creaking, so it's a C rating for the Clear Enduros. Cases and accessories. So some of these headphones have cases, and well, some of them don't. So the Soundcore Q45s are definitely one of those that do. Opening up, the headphones themselves fold nicely into the case and protect it nicely. It also comes with a USB charging cable and an audio cable, and you can use both separately, so when these run out of power you can still use these using the audio cable. These do not come with a plain adapter though, so it's a B rating for the case and accessories for the Q45s. Moving on to the Sonys, and here's the case for the Sony. Nope, there's no case. It's definitely the letdown of these. It is the only headphones here that doesn't have a case or a pouch or something like that. You do get 2 USB cables. You get a USB charging cable and an audio cable, and you can use these when the power runs out using that audio cable. There's no plain adapter that comes with these either, so on the accessories and case front, it's definitely not a win for the Sonys, and it's a D rating for the 720s. The case that comes with the Edifier 950s though is just a step up from anything else. I would be quite happy if I got this case with a more expensive pair of headphones from the likes of Sony or Bose. It just looks great with a nice canvas sort of outer, and accessory wise it comes with a USB power cable and a 3.5mm audio cable as well, so you can listen to these without having any power. It also comes with a flight adapter as well. So the premium case and all the accessories that you could possibly ask for, even in more premium headphones, well, it's an A rating for the 950s for that one. And bringing up the rear somewhere in the middle is the Clear Audio Enduros, because it doesn't have no case, but it doesn't have what I'd call a proper case. It has a pouch, which is better than nothing, but compared to the Edifiers and the Soundcores, well, it's not good enough. It does, however, come with 2 USB-C cables, one for charging and one for connecting to an audio port, which means that you cannot use these whilst you're charging them at the same time. It's a D rating for the Enduros. Comfort. Now the ear padding on the Q45s are really good. There is lots of padding on these, which makes them really comfortable for wearing for long periods of time. There's a little bit of padding on the headband itself, but not too much. The ear cups themselves are actually, or the ear pads themselves, are nice and wide as well, so they're going to suit a wide range of ear sizes. And I've worn these for hours with glasses and they've been okay. Now weight wise, these are 10.3 ounces or 292 grams. So all up for comfort, it's a B rating for the Q45s. Moving on to the Sony 720s, the padding on these on the ear pads are actually pretty good. The size of them isn't as big as the Q45s, but for most people they're probably going to be okay. There is a light clamping force on these, so you can wear these for hours with your glasses without any issues. And because of that all plastic build that I mentioned before, well, that makes these easily the lightest headphones out of all of these. These only weigh 192 grams or 6.8 ounces, and that is significantly lighter than all of these. So the ear pads are a little smaller than the Q45s, but they're super light and easy to wear, so it's a B rating for the 720s. Moving on to the Edifiers, the padding on the ear pads themselves, nice and wide, comparable to the Q45s, and they're a little bit wider than the Sony 720s. So the padding isn't too firm, which means it nicely fits over your glasses without causing any issues, so no discomfort there. Weight-wise, these are 296 grams or 10.4 ounces, so ever so slightly heavier than the Q45s. Really nice to wear, so it's a B rating for the Edifiers. And finally, moving on to the Clear Audio Enduros, there is good padding on the ear pads themselves. However, I do find the ear pads themselves are a little bit on the small side, so even smaller than the Sonys. Those smaller size does also mean that if you do wear these for long periods of time, you can find your ears getting quite hot. And weight wise, we're looking at 280 grams or 10 ounces. So all up, I don't think they're quite as good as the other three on the table, so it's a C rating for the Clear Enduros. The sound. Now all the headphones here are equipped with a 40mm driver, apart from the Sonys, which are equipped with a 30mm driver. Now that does sound smaller, but it is a same size driver that Sony use on their more expensive WH-1000XM5s, so size isn't everything. All of the headphones on this table support SBC audio codec, and actually for the Sony 720s, that's the only audio codec that it supports. Both the Soundcore Q45s and the Edifier 950s add LDAC support, so that's high-res audio codec support to their headphones, which is really useful if you happen to have a high-res audio lying around. Soundcore then add on top of that by also supporting AAC, which is great if you happen to have an iPhone. The Clear Audios also support AAC, but no LDAC over here, but they do support the aptX adaptive audio codec, which is great if you've got an aptX adaptive capable mobile phone. Now looking at sound quality, and all of these headphones are affected if you turn ANC on. With ANC on all these headphones, they all take a big shift into the bass, and when you turn it off, they take a big shift the other way. And that's not uncommon in any ANC headphones, although it is better managed with ones that cost, well, significantly more. Fortunately, you can cater for that by going into the mobile app for any of these headphones to tweak the sound profile. Now, out of the box, the Soundcore Q45s, well, it does have bass, but it's not overly heavy, and the mids and the trebles are pretty good too. Now, you can go into the mobile app and tweak the EQ. Now, the Soundcore mobile app, I think, is awesome. There are so many presets in there to choose from pop and rock and jazz and classical. But you can also jump in there and tweak the 8-band graphic equalizer to your exact listening preference. And that's really where headphones like this start to shine once you've tuned it into your listening preference, not my listening preference. All up, the sound quality in these are pretty good. It's a B rating for the Q45s. Moving on to the 720s, and the sound profile out of these was pretty flat and neutral, and actually didn't require much tweaking at all. I've really liked listening to these. I found the mids and the highs were well balanced, and the bass was punchy without being overpowering. If you don't like the sound signature out of the box, you can jump into their mobile app, and you've got a few different presets you can choose from, as well as a 5-band custom band graphic equalizer where you can tweak the sound profile to exactly what your preference is. So the good sound on these and the customizations make this a B rating for the 720s. Moving on to the Edifiers, well, if ever there was a pair of headphones that emphasizes the bass, then these are definitely it, because out of the box, these are thumping with the bass. There was just a lot of bass out of the box. But again, fortunately, you can jump into the mobile app and you can tweak it. Now, there aren't too many presets in the Edifier mobile app. There's only classic and dynamic, but you can go into the custom band EQ and adjust the sound yourself. Unfortunately, in the mobile app, there is only a 4-band graphic equalizer, so you don't get as much control as you do over, say, the Soundcore and the Sonys. So yes, they sound good, but they're not as tweakable as the other two, so it's a C rating for the Edifiers. And moving on to the Clear Enduros, these are another pair of headphones that are definitely bass heavy out of the box. And they are nice enough to listen to after a bit of EQ tweaking. So jump into their mobile app, there are some presets, there's about 8 presets that you can choose from, where you can jump into the EQ, where there's a 5-band EQ, where you can do some minor customizations to the sound. So not as customizable as the Sonys and the Soundcores, so similar to the Edifiers, it's a C rating for the Clear Enduros. ANC. So noise cancelling is super important on a pair of wireless ANC headphones. On the Soundcores, it's particularly good at cancelling out some of those higher frequencies. It does also come equipped with transparency mode, which allows you to select the amount of ambient noise you want to come into your headphones from the outside world. Now, there are 5 levels of ambient noise selection on the Soundcores, so that combined with good ANC makes this a B rating for the Q45s. Moving on to the Sony 720s. Now, these use the same V1 processor as their far more expensive WH-1000 XM5s, so you're getting some really good noise cancelling with the 720s. They are great at cancelling out that low rumble of, say, airplanes and even the higher frequencies of, say, the aircon units on the same plane. I do, however, notice more white noise in the background when you're not listening to music, far more prominent than the other 3 headphones here. There's also 20 levels of transparency here, so you can choose the exact amount of ambient noise that you want to come through to your headphones. So lots of customization, really good ANC, let down by a bit of white noise. So it's a B rating for the 720s. Moving on to the Edifiers, and the 950 here's for ANC are really good. Edifier headphones in general are pretty good with ANC. They're easily on a par with the Sony and the Soundcores, and I would actually say at some frequencies they perform even better. From a transparency perspective, there's just 6 levels to choose from, so it's a B rating for the Edifier 950s. And last but not least is the Clear Enduros. Now, they're actually pretty good at cancelling out the lower frequencies, but not as good as cancelling out the higher frequencies. So I don't think they're quite on a par as the other headphones that are on this table. There are 10 levels of transparency in their app that you can choose from, and they actually do that pretty well, but the ANC just really isn't on the same par as the other 3. So it's a C rating for the Enduros. The mic test. Now, mic quality is super important if you want to use these for taking calls, so it's time to do the mic test. And now you're listening to the mic on the top of the camera again, so you can hear what the noise is like as the ambient sound in the room. If we now switch to the mics on the headphones, you can now hear what my voice sounds like and how clear I am heard over that background noise. You can also hear how much of that background noise the Q45s are cancelling out. Now I think that the Q45s do an absolutely amazing job in cancelling out lots of that background noise. You'll now listen to the mics on the WH-CH720N so you can hear how well these headphones are cancelling out that background noise. Now all up I think they're doing a pretty good job. I mean it is heavily digitising my voice and it's a bit fuzzy around the outside, but overall you can still hear me, can't hear hardly any of that background noise, so all up it's doing a pretty good job. You're now listening to the mics on the Edifier WH950N-Bs. These headphones do a fantastic job in pretty much cancelling out all that background noise. They do digitise my voice a little bit as a result of that, but considering how loud it is in this room, they do a really good job. Now you can hear what the mics in these headphones sound like in this noisy environment. The headphones themselves are doing an okay job at picking out my voice. They're not great and they're not cancelling out a lot of that background noise, so it's enough that you can take a call on these at a push, but it's certainly not these headphones' strong point. Battery life. And the Soundcore Q45s here have some of the best battery life on the market. You will get 50 hours of battery life out of these, and that goes up to 65 hours if you turn ANC off. And that is a whole heap of battery life. They also come equipped with fast charging, where a 5-minute charge will give you 4 hours of playback, and they charge up to full in around 2 hours. So that is market leading stuff out of any pair of headphones in any price range. So it's an A rating for the Q45s. Moving on to the Sony 720s, these only have 35 hours of battery life. That does go up to 50 hours of battery life though if you do turn ANC off. And these come equipped with fast-ish charging, so a 3-minute charge will give you 60 minutes of playback. But these take forever to charge up to full. These take a full 3 hours to charge up to full. So that really doesn't cut it, so it's a C rating for the 720s. The Edifiers do come in with similar battery life of 34 hours with ANC turned on. However, they are equipped with faster fast charging than the 720s. So you can get 7 hours of playback from a 10-minute charge. And that's a lot. And even when you want to charge these up to full, well, they only take 90 minutes, so that's half the time of the Sony 720s. So it's a B rating for the Edifiers. And moving on to the Clear Enduros, and these have battery life to rival the Soundcore Q45s. On paper, they come with 60 hours of battery life with ANC turned on. However, in real world testing, I got closer to 50. However, that still leaves them on a par with the Q45s. However, they don't fare quite as well in fast charging because a 10-minute charge will just give you 2 hours of playback, and a full charge takes 3 hours, similar to the Sonys, so it's a B rating for the Clear Enduros. Mobile app. So mobile app support for me is really important for headphones because it just, or should, make your headphones far easier to use and just give you the ability to tweak it to exactly how you want, allowing you to customize your buttons, customize your sound profile, customize your ANC, and any extras that you can get on top. Now the Soundcore Q45s has the best mobile app, I think, in the market, definitely at this price range. There is just so much customization to it. You've got all these presets for your audio, you've got an 8-band graphic equalizer that you can tweak to your heart's content. You even have Hear ID tests, which will do tests on your ear canal to find out the sound profile that exactly matches the shape of your ear canal. It really is a great app. There really isn't much to fault it, so it's a B rating for the Q45s. And the Sony 720s follow a similar vein and actually give you really good app support here as well, because Sony give you the same mobile app that supports these headphones that supports their more expensive WH-1000X-M5s. You've got the 20-band transparency mode, you've got great ANC selection, you've got presets, you've got a 5-band graphic EQ, and recently they also added a Find My Equalizer option, which is similar to the Soundcore Hear ID, where it actually does a bunch of tests and finds the sound profile that matches your ears and also matches your listening tastes. So it's a B rating for the 720s. And moving on to the Edifier 950s and the mobile app, it's pretty basic and clunky. From an EQ perspective, there's only presets of classic and dynamic, and even when you jump into custom, there's only a 4-band EQ that you can get to play with. It's definitely a bit of a letdown. It's Edifier's weakest strong point. It's probably the weakest mobile app, or it is the weakest mobile app out of all of these, so it's a D rating for the Edifiers. And moving on to the Clear Enduros, and the mobile app for this is actually pretty good. It's very simple, but the basics that this app does, it just does really well. There are 8 presets for different sound profiles. There's a 5-band custom EQ. It's not as feature rich as the Sony and the Soundcore though, so it's a C rating for the Edifiers. Price. Now, I did say all these were around $150, and they are. The Soundcore and the Sonys are bang on the money at $150, and both of these headphones are not only available in black, but they're also available in black, white, and blue. Moving on to the Edifiers, and these are actually the most expensive headphones out of all of these on the table. These are $180 and available in black and white. And bringing up the rear, so to speak, are the Clear Enduros. These are the cheapest headphones out of the four. These coming in at under $130. Now, you can get them in this navy blue color here, but they also come in a light gray as well. So here we have 4 ANC headphones for you to choose from. If you look at the ratings and the prices, which ones would you pick? Do let me know in the comments down below. I'll also put purchase links to all of these in the description down below, so you can check them out for yourself. If you want to check out some more great headphone ideas, then be sure to check on the link up here. Thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, please don't forget to like and share it. Consider subscribing if you're not. And as always, I'll see you in the next one.